have a headset. Should I try that?
Plug your.
Okay, how's that?
Okay.
Oh, yay, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's what it was. Thanks. I think, who was it that said Thorsten? And all right. Okay, cool. Okay.
All right.
Much better. All right. So I just introduced you as a former staff member at MKG, but that might not be right, because you were there just last week, weren't you?
I'm going to cover all of Rick's classes next week and the week after while they're all in Japan.
All right. So let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
And we'll keep it just between the two of us, because
okay.
Yeah, nobody else is watching.
Got it.
Is going to see this.
Okay.
What would Rick Fay do without you?
He's doing it. It's awesome.
That's not.
Oh yeah, he is. He's doing it.
Yeah. Okay. What would Rick Fay have done? What would he have done without you?
We got a lot done together. We had a very sibling-ish, banter and learned a lot. I learned a lot from him. I think he learned a lot from me. Yeah, very different learning styles. I think I was a challenge for him.
Okay.
But I paid it back.
All right. So your online bio says that that you spent 20 years there, right? So even though this is pretty real, can we start way before then?
Yes.
Like, where were you born?
California.
How did you end up in Minnesota?
Oh, long story. So
we got time.
Okay, so I went to high school in Massachusetts, college in Rhode Island. Promptly upon graduating from college, well, maybe there's a 3-month delay, I got sent to Minnesota to go to rehab for alcoholism, for drinking too much. And that's how I ended up in Minnesota. And at the time, I was like, can't you send me pretty much anywhere else? and yeah, at the time, Minnesota was like the place to go. And that's how I ended up there.
Oh.
It was funny because pretty much everybody that I would meet that was not from Minnesota, you knew they came there because they got shipped there for rehab.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I stayed because I was 21, and they basically said, you're not going to stay sober if you go back. And I was like, well, I'm not staying here. And then I just didn't want to wake up at 40 and have to do it all over again. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll stay here. And so there was a bunch of us that were, in our early 20s. We were a little insane, and got to learn all those life skills most people learn in their teenage years. Yeah. So.
Okay, so then, and martial art comes in when? At what point in
I was 28 when I saw my first. First, I went to Vanessa Herbst Larson was teaching at Rick's school. She was teaching a women's street survival class, and I went to that class first. Okay. And I did that for about a month, and then
wait, Vanessa.
Vanessa and George.
Is she referred to as V sometimes?
I don't think so.
But it's okay. It's Vanessa and somebody else.
George Larson.
Yeah.
And George was Rick's kind of travel guy and training partner, assistant.
Yeah, I know.
And George is the one, actually. So when Greg moved off to open his school, Rick didn't really have a system. Or if he did, it went with Greg. So what I saw was that people would either leave a check for him or not. And that was it. There was I think a list somewhere, but so I had done some administrative work elsewhere. So George says basically said, Rick needs help. Will you help out? I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. And And my first martial arts class, I was like, whatever the hell they're doing, I want to do that. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was the most violent thing I'd ever seen,
Yeah.
but I thought it was beautiful. And
Okay.
Michael O'Melia was the demo guy that day. And I kept looking around going, is this legal? Can you do this to somebody? Because he was hitting the ground so hard at so many unnatural angles.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh,
That and
no.
the tie pads that day.
Okay.
The tie pads were, Rick has a drill. It's 1 to 5, 20 sets of kicks. So it's a ladder. You go 1 kick, 2 kicks, 3 kicks, 4 kicks, 5 kicks. That's 1 set. And you do that 20 times for conditioning at the end of class.
Right.
So I had played hockey all the way through high school and college. So I was used to wind sprints.
Yeah.
But I was also at that time smoking a pack a day. So apparently someone told me about 5 or 6 years later, they came back into the school and said, I got to tell you, and he was 6'5". And so I had to kick my short little legs up to a 6'5" dude on my first class. And he said, I have never heard language combined in that manner before or since. Because I was smoking a pack a day and it was a challenge. And that was it. I was hooked.
Wow.
Yep.
So college and high school and what have you. What were you supposed to be when you grew up?
I don't know, but I was supposed to be, whatever it was, I was supposed to be successful at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But so there was no plan, because like you talked about learning particular life skills later on. Like in school, I had no idea what I wanted to be.
Nope, I had no clue. I just wanted to graduate and stay out of trouble.
Okay, so you talked about your first impressions of MKG.
Yep.
You mentioned that George said Rick didn't have much of a system, but
That was nice. Yeah.
yeah, what was your first impression of Rick Fay?
I don't know that I had a first impression as much as I was so stunned by the beauty and violence of the movement.
Yeah.
And I just was so confused because I didn't know which body part to move, to do whatever, and everything was moving so quickly. And so I was trying so hard to follow that I wasn't really paying attention to Rick that much.
Why didn't you run away? Why didn't you run away?
That's a really good question. I think it's a personality, either attribute or deficit. I'm not sure, but the stuff that they say you can't do, for some reason, I'm like, watch me.
Yeah. Now, how do you pass that on to others?
I think a couple things. Master Chai always has the "if I can do, you can do."
Yeah.
But I think there's some of that, except for I don't have the attribute set of Master Chai. But to tell people that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I think,
Yeah.
you be encouraging and say, hey, you're doing great. And I think share the challenges you had learning makes people feel better.
Mm-hmm. So you had
one of the things that go ahead.
Okay, you had done, as you said, administrative work.
Mm-hmm.
So you started out in the office first, so to speak?
Nope. I started out as a student, and then I just started trying to make a system, and I was in every class I could take, and so I started doing both, and then Vanessa was still doing the women's self-defense, so she sort of brought me on to assist there and learn how to teach.
Okay.
And then what else? There was a bunch of interesting things going on all around that time. Marcus Wynn was doing some training, bodyguard training, so I did some of that. And just a little bit of anything that anybody would bring me to, I would go.
Okay, Marcus Wynn is, you know what, let's do the list now, because there is something magical, like I've always known this about Rick Fay. There's something magical going on at MKG. And
Yeah.
I first sensed it between him and Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, Eric Paulson comes out of that.
Yep.
Marcus Quinn comes out of that.
He
Roy
was sort of
Harris,
tangential. Yeah.
okay, Roy Harris comes out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Wilson comes out of that.
Yep.
What is it in the food? What is?
I think it's the people are phenomenal. You know, when I was thinking about this, one of the things I wanted to bring up was the number of just amazing people. You know, it really is like a family, like Drake and Andy Wilson. And Drake was my training partner. Drake and Roy Leon were my training partners for training for the Thai test. And
Okay.
Drake's a little bit bigger than I am. And he would just razz me until I just got so angry. We rolled. And
Yeah.
I think the environment there was was. Rick always said there's a nothing is sacred rule, which people a little bit thicker skinned, I guess. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just about working hard and training and learning, and people would come early. I think people would come early for class and train before class and then jump into class. And then sometimes you'd go out to eat
Right.
after or whatever. So, yeah. And, you know, David Leach was still teaching there when I was there. And another one.
Was Greg there?
Couldn't hear you there.
Oh man. Wait. Okay.
I
Yeah,
lost you.
starting to
Okay, you're
break up.
back.
I asked you if Greg. Okay. Was Greg there? Did you get there before Greg left?
I did. Greg taught my first Thai classes for, I don't know, until he left, the Friday Thai class. And yeah, it was great.
Okay.
And then when Eric
And-
would come, Eric would come, and go to Greg's. And so Dave would say, "Hey, come see Eric. You got to see him." So I went to go see Eric, and I remember Eric going, "How did you get here? What are you kind of doing here?"
Yeah.
And yeah, I just didn't know that maybe I should have, quit.
Right. So what was it like? Do you have any idea what it was like for other women?
There were a lot of women, there at the time. So Vanessa Larson was there. Vicki Graff was there. She was also teaching. So there were two female instructors. Deanna Larson was there and had been there at least 6 months to a year before I got there. Who else was there? Sherry Imada. And Sherry was 40, so I thought she was old at the time, and about 5 feet tall. And she was a professional piano player. And I was like, well, if she can do it, I sure as hell can do it. So she, talked me into going to my first class. And yeah, so that was, there were women there, which made it really nice.
What was there a marked difference for you between Minnesotan women and women from anywhere else?
I have no idea. Because, I played hockey, all women's, I played girls hockey in high school, and I went to a boarding school, and it was, had been an all boys school. So we had a very small group of girls in our class, and then played hockey in college. So that was a women's team, but everyone was always from all over. So, and I may have been kind of a tomboy, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah. one of the things that I like to do with my dialogue partners is to ask them about their last name and whether or not their last name. Have you done anything with Rathborne?
You broke up. You got to ask the question again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I was saying I like to ask my dialogue partners if they've ever investigated their surnames. So I wondered if you had ever looked up Rathborne.
I have not, but the other members of my family have, and they pass the information down. And I guess it's Irish, and Irish, English, that.
Did they tell? Okay. Did they tell you that it's derived from raw bone?
No. Like bone?
Yes.
Like raw?
Did they tell you that there was a rat?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Right. Did they tell you there was a
There was a what?
Rathborne in Virginia? There was a Rathborne in Virginia in 1664.
That does actually not surprise me, because I know there was a lot of Virginia roots in there.
Okay. Did they tell you what the family motto is?
There's one that there's one that basically is French, but I don't know if that's the one you're referring to. And that is Je ne change qui aimera, which means I will. Oh, the other one was I won't change except in death, which is a little,
Ah, now this one is. Yeah,
What's the one you got?
Suaviter et fortiter, which means mildly and firmly.
Strengthen. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
So when I read that, mildly and firmly, I thought, that's her.
Yeah.
Right?
I can be mild on occasion. Yeah.
Okay. So then, so you ended up teaching what first? The self-defense program or the other stuff?
Women's self-defense was first.
Okay.
And then it was Mike O'Melia was teaching a phase 1 class at a Taekwondo school in Albertville, Minnesota, which was a 45-minute drive away.
Okay.
And he said, he sort of was done with that commute and said, would you take over the class? And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I can't teach a phase 1 class. I don't have the whatever. He goes, oh no, I think you probably could. And I'm like, I don't know. So he goes, well, come out with me. So I go, okay. So I go out with him 45 minutes to, the rural part of, sort of one of the outlying suburbs. I'd never seen a Taekwondo class before. So it's the first time I'd seen one, and they were doing some stick work, but not even having sticks. And I was like, even I can contribute something to this group of people. Right. And I did that twice a week and learned how to teach away from the collie group. And then in the meantime, what was interesting / weird is I had some seizures, which they never found out why, and wasn't able to drive myself out to the sticks to teach my class. So one of my friends drove me out there twice a week, so it's an hour and a half in the car for me to teach an hour class. And did that for, I don't know how long, but that was a great experience.
Okay.
And then I think, yeah.
I think you broke up there. What was it? What happened that you couldn't drive yourself?
I had some seizures, and yeah, grand mal seizures. One of them happened. I was driving, so I didn't have my license for a long time.
Okay.
And with the nothing is sacred rule at the Kali group, one of my friends said that he heard about it and said he was going to get me a helmet and a shopping cart. So there was a lot of sympathy. So I don't know. Did you get that?
Okay. This is okay. Hold on a second. Um, were you doing stuff? Did you have a full-time job somewhere else, or?
I did. I was working as a loss prevention person at a department store,
Okay.
and that's what I was doing when I came to the Kali group. And I did that for a few years, and then I ended up working at the school full time, tried to do some self-defense classes and added the women's kickboxing and took over more of the administrative stuff for the school. And then I also ended up with a piece of rental property, so that sort of subsidized my income there.
Okay. Your online bio says that at one point you were teaching 20 classes a week.
If Rick was out of the country, yeah, I taught everything, which was a great experience. Because I think he had about 24 classes a week, 22 to 24. So I would teach my classes and his classes.
Okay, because as an owner, that used to be my schedule for
Right.
for teaching, but that's impressive. So is there a philosophy behind the MKG curriculum, the MKG approach? That I ask you that because I suspect that you influenced it.
I don't think I necessarily influenced the curriculum. I think I understood the philosophy that Rick was trying to use as a foundation for the curriculum. And it's straight Kali, JKD, Guru and Asano philosophy is way the classes and the curriculum were structured. So a lot of, an attribute development over time, principle-based learning.
Yeah. So is your approach substantially similar, substantially different? What would you say?
I'd say it's pretty similar. I think that, how do I put it? I think that I do it, so like if Rick is college, the classes from Rick, and I think I'm more grade school. How you start, this is the easier way to digest the information or learn it. For example, the tie kick. So everybody on the planet told me to turn my hip over during my tie kick. And so I had no idea what that meant. So I would try, and I think I get it. And then about a year later, someone else would come up and go, you got to turn your hip over. I'm like, God, I thought I was. And then, someone else would come up and go, yeah, I got to turn your hip over. I'm like, damn it. I thought I was doing that. And it was one day, it took me 6 years. And I was watching Rick Young kick the heavy bag. And I was like, oh, that's what everybody means by, and then I could try to replicate the movement, but I didn't understand the language. So I think I can help people that don't maybe understand the word, understand the words that are being used to describe the motion. I can maybe translate that.
Yeah.
and put it into a different
That
context that's
brings
more
me.
digestible.
Yeah. Okay. So reading from your website, right? From your company website, it says her
Oh boy.
focus continues to be the creation and development of a martial art and self-defense program that enhances the defensive capability, offensive skills, physical, mental, and spiritual health of her students. Now, I imagine a lot of what you teach is based on emotional health also.
Oh, you cut out right in there a couple times. So I have no idea.
Okay, let's do this again. Right?
Sorry. Okay.
On your website.
Oh my God.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. On your website, it talks about your program enhancing the defensive capabilities, offensive skills, physical, mental, and spiritual health of your students. Did you get that?
Yep, I got that.
Okay. What I was saying is, I imagine, though, that a lot of what you teach is based on emotional health also, or is about emotional health.
I think it's a side effect of the training. So I don't know that you need to teach it so much. I think, you get those endorphins going. I'll definitely address it as I think some of the striking and all that can be therapeutic. But I think trying to keep things in balance and realizing that that many people that come into the martial art, balance may not be their strong suit. Certainly is not mine. It's something you got to work on. Through?
Hang on. Okay. Guys, tell me if...
Now I...
Okay, are you back? Because you froze for a second.
You froze. I didn't freeze.
Yeah.
No, I mean, okay, I'm back.
That brings me to something. That reminds me of something. What about the...
Oh my God, you froze again.
Was there a need, a necessity? Oh man, we might have to finish this up off camera if this keeps happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Nick
sweet.
says that
Someone
my
else said
end-
that you were freezing.
Yes. Okay. Fine. All right. So okay, let's do this. We'll cut. Okay. Carla says we should keep going, and I kind of have to do what
I'm good.
Carla says.
Okay.
Okay. But Carla, if the audio stuff doesn't improve, yeah, George says that we keep freezing. George is over in England, so let's cut this. I'll send you the link.
I got to
for
teach you
Zoom.
OBS. Okay.
Yeah. Nick told me that a year ago. All right, I'll send you a link for Zoom, and we'll finish up off camera, and then I will I'll stitch the two of them together. Sorry, George is in Scotland, not
Okay.
England. I'm sorry, George.
Yeah.
All right, so let's cut this. I'll send you the link. So
Okay.
on Facebook, I'll send you the link on Facebook, and then we'll finish up, and I'll stitch the two of them together in post-production.
Okay, perfect.
All right? Okay. All right. I'll talk to you in a couple of minutes.
All right. Looks like everybody sounds good.
All righty.
Bye, Nick.
I guess Facebook doesn't want us to quit. Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
girl.
let me see how much. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's
All
not
right.
working. So I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay. I guess I gotta hang up. Okay, I can't hear you. Yep. Oh, is that any better? Nope, can't hear you. Let's try this again. How's that? Headset, mute. Yeah. I unplug it. Done. Nothing. Off. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, are you there? Nope. Try this one. Try it one more time. How's that? Nope. Okay. I got nothing. I can't hear you at all. Crap. Oh, hold on. Tap to speak. Nope. Oh. Unmuted by host. All right. Any better? I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. Muted by the host. I'm unmuted by the host. Oh, I think I hear you.
Yes.
Yay!
Okay. I probably pushed the wrong button. All right. Okay. So yeah.
And the funny thing is that I was giving you and Rick grief about technical difficulties.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I definitely have to look into the OSB thing that Sifu Nick keeps telling me about. But that'll come. All right. So let's see. Where were we? What I wanted to ask you about, because in October, I dialogued with Diana Rathborne, with Tanya Monroe, with Halina. What in your travels and encounters with all these women, are you guys more? Do you have more in common? You find, since you are, I mean, you guys occupy a spot in the world of martial art in general, and then specifically in the world of Jeet Kune Do. All right. So I was wondering if what your discoveries had been, if there was a group of things that you've, or even just one thing or nothing at all.
I think the challenges of running a school and trying to keep your training current, and navigating the challenges with the people that are either helping you teach or helping you do admin, and all the sort of time constraints and how to do it and stay sane and trained
Yeah.
are one of the things that everybody seems to have in common.
Yeah.
And a sense of humor. I think the sense of humor is pretty good. I haven't spent much time with, or any, I think I met Diana in a sauna one time. But
Okay.
so I haven't gotten to do anything with her.
What, okay, we'll come back to that. The sense of humor thing. I've noticed that, and Rick has talked about it. So did you develop a Minnesota sense of humor?
No, I think that was, no.
Because he and Greg see, and Eric.
And Eric.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now let's go specific. Your friendship with LaVon Martin.
Yes.
More commonalities? Is that what it was born out of?
I think, you know, I had always looked up to LaVon because there were so few women when I was coming up. There was Linda Hatch, there was Kathy Gibson,
Yeah.
LaVon, Amy Tucci, and Simo Paula, and that was kind of it, unless I'm forgetting somebody, which is
it's I mean, outside of the women from California, like Tanya Subing, like Graciela Casillas, I think LaVon was one of the earliest.
Oh yeah,
Right?
and she was one of the ones who had done, not only was teaching under Guru, but had done her Thai boxing test. And I wanted to do my Thai boxing test, and Rick kept telling me no. So I would say, do you think, oh yeah, do you think I could take my Thai boxing test? And he would look at me and say no and walk away. And that was it. That was the whole sentence. Then like a year later, I'd go, hey, I'd like to train for the Thai boxing test. He'd just say no and walk away. And the third time I asked him, he said, I said, so if I start training now, it was September.
Yeah.
Do you think that I could take the Thai boxing test in April? And he said, I will let you train for it, but if I think you're going to hurt yourself, I can tell you up to the day that you can't take the test. I went, okay.
Okay.
And Drake Ritchie, Roy Leong, there were a few of us that all tested that same day. Atticus Todd was another guy that trained that day or tested that day.
Yeah.
And he said that to all of us. But, you know, so to know that there were women out there that had taken the test,
Right,
was like, ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. You traveled internationally with Rick also?
I did, yep.
What was that like?
It was interesting. You know, one of the things he said is, be ready or I'll leave you. And you know he's not kidding.
Oh God! See, you deserve an award just for putting up with him for 20+ years. My God!
Well, what was cool about that is there'd be other people that were going to go to, you know, England or whatever, and go, here's what you need to know.
Right.
So I was like the translator between Rick and everybody else, because I had to like do it with no translator.
Yeah.
And I would go, he will leave you. So yeah.
Oh man, I swear. Okay.
But there were some really, really funny things. Like we were on a train in England, and on the train there were two other students, and I think it was for his 2005 Instructor Conference with Brendan. And we were on the train to somewhere, and there was a group of guys that had come on the train from, I don't know, some night out, and everybody was drunk. And we had to walk through them to get off the train. So I looked at everybody, and I'm thinking, well, they're going to harass me the least because I'm a female.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at Rick, I go, okay, so I should go first. And he was like, what? No. So yeah, that got no traction.
Oh God. Oh man. Okay. Your friendship with Halina.
Yes.
Okay. Describe
So,
that.
Halina was at my first camp. The first camp I ever went to was 1992. Pete Hetrick was the host in Wisconsin. It was Wisconsin camp.
Okay.
And Halina and Neil were there. Amy and Rick Tucci were there.
Okay.
Vanessa was there. So she was there, and she was at a lot of the camps that I was at.
Yeah.
You know, at that time, I was new enough. I was just trying not to, like, drown. Because there was so much information that you're trying to, like, stay afloat.
Right.
And then when I gave Rick my notice in 2015 that I was going to not do all the administrative stuff anymore, I wasn't really sure how I was going to kind of morph everything going forward. And I went on walkabout. So I put everything in my car for 4 months and drove around. And I went and saw Levon. And I also went down to Neil and Helena's. And yeah, that's kind of how.
Wait.
I think seeing each other at seminars and doing that.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Didn't you come to Miami years before that also?
I did. I came to your seminar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You were there. Oh God.
I was.
2003.
Was that 2003?
I think so, because it was my 20th year with Inosano. Yeah.
You had a picture of you, Levon, me.
Yeah, because
we
were just talking about this. We were just talking about this last night. We did the first half at Neil's school, at their school in Coral Springs, and then the second half we did in Miami, the Saturday and Sunday. Do you remember it being that way?
No, I don't think so.
No? Oh.
I think it was in a gym. I think it was later than 2003. It was the year you had Cass Magda come.
That was it.
Yeah, okay, then it was.
Yeah, it was 2003. Yeah.
God, that was 15
The funny thing about that, I tried to keep that a secret, right? And because we were going to do Saturday in Coral Springs, I flew them into Fort Lauderdale instead of flying them into Miami.
Okay.
And so they're in Dallas, and Cass is walking, and Sifu Dan's walking, and they see each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's like, Cass, what are you doing here?
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was, next Friday, this time, I'll be on with Eleanor Academia. Have you ever met her?
I went to their school one time when I was in LA because Sherry, the piano player that I told you about, was friends with Eleanor. Okay. And so I think she might still train with them. I don't know.
Probably, because they've got they've got a self-defense thing that they've been running for 2 decades now. That Eleanor.
Well, I think they were musicians together.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Heather Mundy, do you know her?
We have trained together at some camps.
Okay.
And got to spend some time. I don't know what year it was. With like Juan Perez and Heather and then a couple of the other people that were at the camp.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I loved listening to the interview.
Oh God, wasn't that awesome?
That was amazing. That was really, really cool.
That was something else. What camp? You mentioned camps. Did you go to Smoky Mountain?
No.
Okay.
I started, my first year was 1991. The first camp I went to was Wisconsin Camp with Guru Dan.
Okay.
And it was, I don't think I'd been training 6 months.
Okay.
And so I was clueless. And Vanessa, I was Vanessa's partner, and she was an instructor already. So you remember back then, Guru made everybody go up with their partner and demo.
Right.
And so there would be a couple times where Guru would pull up Vanessa and go, and then he'd just look at me and goes, "It's okay. Whatever you can do will be fine."
Yeah.
And at that time, I had done the 18 count. I could do Paksao, Lapsao, Gumsao, and I could do Heaven 6. And that was it. And it was 4 days or something.
Right.
Yeah, it was it was a lot, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I remember Rick coming up to me and going, well, because the way I got to camp, he goes, hey, you going to go to camp? I'm like, well, I don't know. What is it? And he goes, oh, it's awesome, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, I'll go. So, and it was all instructors, and then, you know, I tagged along, but I had no idea.
Right.
And then about up until right before the first break of that day, Rick comes by me and goes, so what do you think? It's amazing, isn't it? And I'm like, sure. Because I'm like going, I can't do it. There's just so much going on, and I was so confused.
Yeah.
And then there was a break, and when Drew started up and started talking again, I just went, oh my God, look at him move. But, you know, it took a little bit of being completely stressed out that I wasn't getting it, and then all of a sudden being able to take in what I was watching, and I went, oh, wow.
So how do you think you got to the point where you started getting it?
Time. I put in a lot of time.
Yeah.
I went to every class I could go to. I assisted on everything I could assist on. I bought a bunch of books and did reading.
Yeah.
I went to anybody that was, you know, in the area teaching, and I started to, I think, see the common threads that everybody uses to teach with.
Right.
Go, okay, well, that's like this. And my first class that had any groundwork in it at all, Rick taught, and it's a class with 9 people during the day. Did you ever go to his school above Sawadee on Washington Avenue?
Yes.
With like, okay, so that was a dump.
Yes.
I mean, a true dump. And like there was wood floors, they were splintered. The guy spit on the wall, which thank God I didn't know, because I looked at the wall later and I just about threw up. So I was just like, yeah. Anyway, but I loved it. I thought that place was awesome. So there's 9 guys in that room, and Rick teaches, you know, and shows what he's going to do. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And what the drill was triangle choke from the guard. And I now partnered with 2 dudes I don't know, and I got to stick them between my thighs and squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, just suck it up and do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. And I was doing it with this guy named Kurt Carlson. So I look down, and I'm squeezing as hard as I can. And I go, do I have this right? And he goes, no, actually, you're going to move your hips over. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I left that class and went to the bookstore and ended up with Judo Jean LaBelle's Pro Finishing Holds was the book that I bought.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I just kept trying to like figure it out. And then people helped me. A lot of people helped me. George and Vanessa helped. Everybody helped me.
Yeah. The peculiarities of training with guys, I imagine that puts you in an excellent position for advising, let's say, women in martial art, in self-defense programs and what have you, on what it takes to navigate and maneuver through this world that is dominated by men.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that is helpful for people to know is that the new guys, new to wrestling, are just as freaked out about having to grapple with a woman as the women are to grapple with a guy, with a guy when they're new. And so you just have to kind of got to keep moving. Yeah. You can't go, oh, this is really uncomfortable, and then like dwell on it. You just got to go, okay, yep. So, and just throw them in whatever position it is, and you'll get over it.
Yeah. And in your, I mean, in the years that you've been in pursuit of Jeet Kune Do, have you developed patience for people who won't try as hard?
Yeah. I guess there's different ways to not try as hard. So there's like you're physically slacking. Okay. I think there's people that are just so nervous that if they go too hard, they're going to run out of energy.
Yeah. Okay.
So they kind of slack a little bit. And
Yeah.
then there's people that just don't really want to be there. And so they kind of just mentally check out. And I have a little trouble with that one. And then there's people that, you know, they are used to telling themselves they can't do it.
Right.
Oh, I can't do that. So then they kind of check out there a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think when I listened to both Halina and Heather's talks with you, you mentioned a little bit about the psychology of teaching, because you really have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting is I took up this quest to learn how to shoot. And
That's where Marcus Wynn comes in?
way back in the beginning,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
But then in the last few years, I decided that I really wanted to learn how to do it, and I just couldn't do it. It was super annoying. It was like Thai boxing. It was like, again, it was like something that the harder I tried, I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So of course that meant I would just try harder.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've been blessed with finding amazing instructors in that realm too, who are also JKD, are thinkers of in a JKD way.
Right.
In their craft and their art, and watching them do the mental gymnastics about how to get me to work the way I needed to perform. And you go, okay, I've done this with other people, and now it's getting done to me.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, she's doing this wrong, so maybe I'll try it this way. Oh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
And you have so many different approaches to use.
Yeah. What could you define that phrase that you just used, the Jeet Kune Do way?
Boy, I'll probably won't do it you know, adequate service, but I think, you know, it comes down to the concepts, you know, so what are the attributes we're trying to develop here? What training methods or modalities will get those attributes to come out? And then how do we marry that to the skill set that we would like to have happen? And then can you develop their ability to perform that skill set in flow?
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know if that, you know,
Yeah.
or another skill set that might be more appropriate.
Yeah.
And that to not get, I guess to develop the ability to identify that if something is not working, to go to something else.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Rathborne Training
Yes.
came about how long ago?
Well, I think initially I did it so that, you know, when I started doing the women's self-defense stuff through Rick's and seminars, so I've been teaching on my own with the colleague group behind me, you know, for law enforcement training and women's self-defense and seminars for at least 10 years.
Okay.
And it was, you know, and I wanted to have insurance. So I had to come up with a name of something that I could get insurance,
Right.
you know, for an LLC. And I just had no creativity involved in the name choice. And then when I had the opportunity to have a little bit more time I just couldn't come up with anything else.
Yeah.
So that's what it ended up as.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I mean, I have these instructors that are phenomenal. So maybe I tweak presentation or curriculum delivery,
Yeah.
or structure,
Yeah.
but there's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's, you know, I have stuff from Gurdan and Eric and Rick and, you know, all these people that, you know, if I can go, okay, this drill for this group of people and this audience would be, you know, best, and maybe I can modify it a little bit, but
Yeah.
I don't need to come up with anything new.
Do you have a stack of notebooks?
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think, God, I don't know. It's got to be 10 feet long. This, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
You must have that.
Well, yeah, mine are legal pads and spiral notebooks and
Mine are spiral notebooks. Yep.
yeah. I mean, even right now, somebody asked me this on Quora just the other day, about taking notes, I always have pen and paper. I don't use my phone for that.
One of my challenges that has been a benefit is that I'm a kinesthetic learner and I can't tell my left from my right. Yeah.
Okay.
So it always helped me to learn by writing the drills down. So the act of writing the drills in order would help me remember how to perform the drills in order.
Yeah.
So like if, for example, you go to an instructor camp at Guru's, and his list is different than Rick's list, I have to go, if I can write it down, then maybe I can remember it to replicate it when you get tested or however.
Yeah.
But the writing part is key.
Yeah.
And then you get to learn progression too, because you go like, this is how this person progressed from point A to point B with their curriculum.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that whole curriculum development, curriculum structure, one of my dreams is to one day have an instructor conference where that's what we share. So we'll have a session where everybody teaches the students who attend, but a priority of the instructor conference will be the sharing of, well, Diana, how do you approach such and such, you know, versus how these people over here do it? Because I think that would be a phenomenal discovery. You know?
Well, and the other thing that would be really a huge benefit for that is, you know, I think a lot of okay, hang on a second. I lost you there for a second. Hold on, I'm going to plug you in.
Okay.
All right. Is that I think some of the newer people coming up don't really have a sense of the vastness of their lineage. And I think our biggest resource is our fellow instructors. Yeah. And you know, it's just the people are the coolest part of this art and this journey.
Yeah. No, I agree, because like one of my pet peeves is when I see the younger group moving in a less than as dynamic as they should move. And I think it's because they're watching what Sifu Dan does, and then they're thinking, okay, this is how I should do it, without realizing, no, he's 82. So, you know, so some of them don't pay attention to footwork in particular. Like that's one of the things that I've noticed, right?
Right.
And it's because, well, yeah, he's not doing. And you know what's another pet peeve of mine? When they stand almost straight up and do Kali.
Oh yeah.
You know, Kali's never been a stand erect art. It's always been the half squat, right? So that's like a little pet peeve of mine. Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I probably was, but I forgot. You know, just, you know, one of the things that I've tried to do is travel. You know, so I've gotten to take all kinds of different seminars. So I got to take a Kali seminar from Chris Clark, for example, in Washington State. Yeah. And to see him move and you move and just all these people that are senior to me perform the art and get an idea of your understanding of it has helped me, as well as to get it from Guru and to see that, you know, I'll never forget seeing Eric teach numerato and sombrata on the ground with no sticks and go, oh, it's the training method. Yes. Or the, you know, the approach to training that and where you exactly apply it or put it to use is going to be dependent upon what you're doing. Hey, do you I know the answer, but I'm still going to ask the question. When you hear Sifu Inasano say that Eric Paulson, one genius, you agree? Oh, he's absolutely a genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing, right? And I'm sure everybody else in every other martial art family, they've got their own too. But Greg Nelson, genius or not?
Absolutely.
Right. Eric, so Rick Fay, genius or not?
Yep.
Yeah. Right. I mean, of course I'm biased, but I think we have some of the smartest people.
Well, it's an intellectual system,
Yeah.
and then, what's been cool is to go outside of, let's say, martial arts like Kali, JKD, and go, I've run across 2 or 3 different firearms instructors. They're JKD. They are JKD. One guy, I looked at him and I'm like, that's JKD with a pistol right there.
Yeah.
And then, and a lot of them have studied the JKD philosophy and concepts and applied it to pistol craft. So I'm sure.
Okay,
I'm
wait,
sure
hold on a
other
second.
people.
You know for sure that they have studied it?
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's possible also in certain lineages in jiu-jitsu?
To take
That same idea of having been influenced by the Jeet Kune Do concept.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to the instructor.
Yeah.
And how the instructor, you're talking about, I guess, the intellectual component of, the instructor and student base for this art. And Kali too, there's 12 different areas in each area. And the Kali JKD concepts, philosophy, approach to all, it's like the same but different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember when, I've told this story before, but I heard Joe Rogan one time say that Helson Gracie gave him the best description of jiu-jitsu ever, and it was, when you do this, I do that. When you do that, I do this. And I'm thinking, yeah, Joe, that's called sombrada.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I hear I'll call it fascination. When I hear their fascination with how many things are possible from one position in jiu-jitsu, right? I hear and I go, man, they just got to that. I mean, I heard that 40 years ago when Dan says, okay, so here's the angle 1 and here's the inside deflect. Now, 36 things.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your take on Sifu Asano's contribution to the martial art world?
Oh my God. I mean, for me, he is the martial arts world. I think he's like the hub of the wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gathered, one of the things, and he's said so many things over the years, but a couple that are coming to mind right now. One is, many have died to bring you this art.
Yeah.
And the other was his description of how many times he got hit to learn a certain technique. And then he teaches it to us where we don't get hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I can't remember, someone hit him, over and over and over and over and over again until he figured out how to block it. And he'll go, okay, here's the roof block. We don't get beamed on the head.
Right.
That's amazing. And then I think because he's always growing and learning, and he picked up Thai boxing at 40 and jiu-jitsu at 50, and I just turned 55. So it's like, okay, how am I going to keep this going? Yeah. And where are you going to morph it and change it and stay healthy? And
what modifications have you had to make?
Well, my knees don't work. What's left to do with my knees is replace them. So
okay.
So I've been, I want to one of my goals is to get back on the mat and to try and get back, and take, do some of Eric's trainings. Yeah. But, I've been nervous because my knees are so shot.
Yeah.
So I've been spending, the last couple of years doing physical therapy to get them stronger. And I just was at a camp last weekend, a law enforcement conference that was half on the mat and half on the range.
Mhm.
And it's like, I definitely paced myself,
Yeah.
and there's things I can't do, but, make adjustments and I guess not quit is the big one.
Well, I mean, that's been your modus operandi, since the beginning. What's the plans for Rathborne Training going forward?
So, my goal is to do, more seminars. I don't know that I want to open a school yet, because almost everybody I've talked to that owns a school is like, losing their mind. Um,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
and see if I can help, carry forward some of the gifts that I've been given.
Yeah.
I want to add stuff. I got an online store, so I'm going to add like coffee mugs and t-shirts and hoodies and, jog bras and all the stuff that, like you would want. And then, I want to somehow marry some of the firearms with some of the hand self-defense martial arts stuff.
Right. Okay.
Because right now the communities are completely separate.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that we normal people, civilians, should have access to training that we don't. Things like, in the day and age of terrorism as a reality, you should know how to put on a tourniquet.
Right.
You don't want to be somewhere and go, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do to help this person or help myself.
Yeah.
And so if I can help get some of that curriculum out to the rest of us,
yeah,
and then make it, I don't want to, end up wearing, camo with a bunker in the backyard, but, I would like to have some, skills and help other people that are maybe intimidated that,
right,
that this thing's a tool. It's nothing else. It's not any different than a flashlight.
Yeah. Okay. And so rathbornetraining.com would be the best place to find you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's wrap this up. Recommendations for people I should bring onto the Jeet Kune Do dialogues. I think you told me before Chris Clark. I'm pretty sure.
Chris Clark would be great.
Yeah.
Juan Perez.
Juan's been on before.
Linda Hatch.
Dave and Linda, I've been in touch with them, but we have to work out the logistics of being able to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Rick Young, Atticus Todd, Drake Ritchie would be awesome.
Okay, wait. Drake Ritchie, I have a folder because I already have folders on my computer, and it just says, so your folder says episode number 31 with Diana Rathborne, and then it has 10/26/18.
Right.
Drake Ritchie's just says episode with Drake Ritchie.
Awesome.
Right. So as I get the names, but Atticus Todd.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I know his name because there's only 2 other people that I know with the name Atticus. But why do I know him?
So he started at Rick's.
Okay.
And now he's at the Inasano Academy.
Okay.
The stunt man. He was my training partner for a while for the Thai pads. He's got, and I get it wrong every time I say it, but he's 6'1" or 2" with like a 6'7" or 8" wingspan.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's teaching a phase 1 class at the Inasano Academy once a week, I think.
Yeah.
He and Chris Harley really helped Sifu Larry, near the end.
Yeah.
And just a really good energy, awesome guy.
Okay. I have reached out to, actually I owe her a reply to to Mrs. Hartzell. Can you
Mhm.
think of any ladies of Jeet Kune Do that
Well, you
I
Linda
left Lavon
King.
Martin a voicemail, and I have not heard back from her yet.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
maybe you
Brenda
could talk to
King.
her on my behalf.
Okay.
Who did you?
Tanya Paulson.
When we were talking to Eric, I put that idea in her mind.
She'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Brenda King.
Brenda was too busy, but when we were over on Facebook, she showed up. So I have a folder.
Up again. God, there's so many.
Yeah.
Vanessa. You could get Vanessa Larson. That would be awesome.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because she was an instructor under Guru when I started in '92.
Yeah. That's one of the things about our martial art family. It's like if you never leave your town, you're not aware,
Right.
that it's almost anywhere in the world we could go and we'd find at least one colleague, I think.
The other woman that I got to train under who's been around a long, long time is, there's a couple. There's a woman, Julie Gabriel, in Cambridge, England. She trains with Ollie Batts. But when I went over there, whenever that was, she had a stick class, and it was a women's double stick class. And it was packed. There were 20 women in there.
Wow.
Yes, really cool.
Yeah.
Jackie Rayner is another one that's been around for a long time. That's under Rick Young.
Jackie. Okay.
Vanessa. Oh my gosh, I'm pulling a blank on her last name right now. Warwick, I think.
Okay.
Out of Bourne. She's with Phil Norman.
Okay. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, with the exception of Tommy Carruthers, and I've spoken to Mick Tully and I've spoken to Rick Young, but I haven't even gone, out of the US, right, to do the dialogue show. And I haven't really gone outside of people that I personally know, right?
How about Janelle? Janelle Bua Gardenez. I can't say her last name right, but she's out of California. She's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so I know that I'm gonna be doing this show conceivably until I'm no longer around.
Awesome.
Because I can always go back to you. I can always go back to Juan Perez. I can always go.
Yep.
I mean, come on, right? Anyhow, okay, all right. So thank you so much, my dear, for spending time with me.
All right.
Right, I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, okay.
Oh,
All right, I hope you had a good.
all right. That was fun. All right. Have a good night.
Okay, take care.
All right. Bye.